Well, hello there, woman beings, and welcome to another episode of the Woman Being Podcast. We are feeling a little competitive today, which means it can mean one thing and one thing only.
Ooh.
It is time for another
Feminist Rage Social Media Showdown!
The sequel. So, without further ado, we've got a lot of raging and a lot of feministing to do, so we're just going to dive right in. This is Woman Being,
where we explore thoughts and opinions
and have the freedom to change our minds
without expectation or judgment.
We will hold a safe space and support each other
as we navigate together in the form of feminine.
If you have not previously watched our first episode of Feminist Rage Social Media Showdown, you need to go back to season 2, find it. I forget what number it is, but you can find it. It's fine. We only have 70 episodes. And watch that first, because you'll have context for what is happening. But for those of you that don't care to do that, which you should, I'm going to explain the rules to you. It's very simple. It's very simple. 2 of us will go head-to-head with the third judging the content we present on which is the most feministy, rageful, and make us angry. Based on qualifications that judge gets to choose.
Yes.
Then it will rotate, and the other 2 will compete, go head-to-head, and the third will judge, which is reigning supreme. At the end, because there's 3 of us, we will do a full round with all 3 to determine the tiebreaker.
Yeah, with a blind vote.
Blind vote. So, I feel like it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
No. I'm ready to be enraged. I'm ready to fire some people up. And I'm ready to win, coach, judge.
Put me in, coach. All I have to say is that the points do matter, and they are made up. And I care about each one of them very much.
Yeah, we have 2 very competitive people. I am competitive, but most of the time I'm like, I'm just here for fun. So we'll see how this goes.
We'll see.
I'm like, I have no intention of winning.
Oh.
So
Before we start, we do have to recognize our reigning champion.
Emma. That's me.
The reigning feminist rager.
I did win last time. And with that in mind, I would be willing to allow somebody else to win. I just, I've had my time in the sun. But despite that, I'm still going to try to win.
Amazing. BT Dubs, since we haven't mentioned it yet, you need to make sure you're following us on Instagram. And the reason you need to make sure that you're following on Instagram is so that you can help contribute to things like this. The reason we know that you want another episode of the Feminist Rage Social Media Showdown is because people told us that they loved it. So if you're not following us, you can't tell us what you love, and then that's a lose-lose. So help us win-win and follow us on social.
Ooh, everyone wins in that scenario, unlike the Feminist Rage Social Media Showdown, in which there will be one and only one winner.
So, ladies, should we just go for it? Who's starting?
Go for
I think
it.
you 2 should start since
Okay.
I'm
All right.
hosting, so I get to judge.
All right.
Interesting. As reigning champion, it is your due diligence to go first, I would say.
Okay. Then I will go first. Are you ready?
Yes.
So this is a TikTok. I don't think it needs more context than that.
It is a TikTok.
What are some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist but are so normalized with
I've tried numerous times and asked numerous doctors if I can have my tubes tied because I do not want children. My husband and I do not want children. They want to have a meeting with both me and my husband. They tell me I'll probably change my mind, that I'm too young, or that I need to wait until I have at least 1 child, even though I don't want any. But my husband can make 1 phone call and set up an appointment just like that.
Let the rage just slowly enter your body.
That's good.
Let that course through your veins as you realize that this woman is not granted true reproductive freedom because she's not allowed to choose her form of family planning, but her husband is because he's a man and he's capable of making the decision to get a vasectomy, but she's not able to make the decision to get her tubes tied.
Because she's going to change her mind.
Yeah, because every woman wants a child.
She doesn't know. She's just a woman.
Yeah. How could she possibly make that decision even without her husband being present?
Ooh.
Yeah. She needs him by her side to help her make her medical decisions.
I mean, really.
Because women don't know anything.
Well, not without the aid of our loving, supportive, protective leader husbands.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Our shepherds to
Yes.
guide us down the right path.
Yeah.
As it were.
Yes.
Absolutely. Wow.
All right.
That's good.
That's it's a tough act to follow.
Hit us with it.
Here we go. This is a carousel. So there's going to be a little bit of reading here and a little bit of slide showing.
Excellent.
Ready. First of all, I want to preface this with this is an account that has 98,000 followers.
All right.
It's called Cosmic Masculinity.
Mm.
And they have all sorts of great little nuggets on how men should consider getting a woman or not.
Cool.
This is one of their posts called The 7 Types of Women to Avoid. Slide number 1, the strong, independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the only explanation for that is just too much masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need any more explanation than that.
Number 2, the party queen. This one is a no-brainer.
Wow.
Maybe that's a joke.
I think it is.
Because also they have no
She
brain.
has a no brain.
Whoa. Number 3, the money grabber. Usually always asking for money and asking you to help with the bills. Will cheat on you for money.
Oh.
Okay. Number 4, the single mom. Specifically the ones who have never been married before. If you spot them, run. That's all caps.
Wow.
Run. This is not ironic, you guys. This whole account is built on this stuff. Number 5, the needy one. She'll suck all your energy and time. It's not the only thing she'll suck.
I was going to say, but not that.
Not that.
But if she is needy,
That's true.
actually, like. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Spicy.
Number 6, the control freak. If she is trying to control you, leave her alone, king.
King.
And number 7, the he's just my friend. Fact of the matter is he's not just her friend. Do not fall for this.
What? Women can't have male friends?
Definitely not.
Never.
I suppose not.
I've never spent time with a man and not been sexually involved with them. Impossible.
The caption says, click the link in the bio to make an instant change to your dating life.
Instant.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, sounds like you don't really want to date
Wowza.
anyone, but that's fine. This person said, guys, listen carefully. If you should find a woman that is not one of these, it is a man, and you should ask to see their 4th grade school pic for ID verification.
Whoa. Wow.
That is a
But also,
not good joke.
the idea that, you're going to cross off and, devalidate, so many, women. And, the men are just, perfect. You're a perfect, angel.
Yeah, I don't know. This person says, first one seems a bit much, but all the others I agree with.
Oh my gosh.
Interesting.
So that is cosmic masculinity.
Cute.
Yeah.
Ladies, if he's following, what is it?
Cosmic masculinity.
Cosmic masculinity.
Dump his ass.
He's not for you. He's
There should
not
be
the one.
top warning signs of top men you should avoid. Number 1, follows cosmic masculinity. And that's it. That's the only slide.
That's it.
No explanation needed. Or this one's a no-brainer. Is what it should say underneath.
Exactly. That's good stuff.
That is good.
All right,
That's so
ladies.
funny.
We have some steep competition. We're coming out. Is it gate? Coming out the gate.
Okay,
hot.
yeah.
Oh,
That's a good stretch, Kel. For all who can't see, Kelly's currently doing some arm stretches.
Yep.
Some
Getting nice and limber.
Yeah, she's getting limber, which is odd because she just did the competition part.
Yep.
But, whatever.
Yep. Okay, so we have rights to your fertility and body
Yeah.
versus the 7 types of women to avoid.
That basically encompasses most women, if not all women.
Because
Well, because
listen,
someone like that could find a way to put any woman that they come in contact with into one of
In
those
any
categories.
category.
Yeah.
whew, I think I'm going to have to go with the fertility video.
Oh, woo! Yes.
And my reason being
Yes.
is because her
Favoritism.
husband needs to be present and
Yeah.
like have a
Ugh.
meeting with the doctor. Like
So gross.
she needs his permission or something, which is like, what?
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's bad.
Not just
It's
the
rough.
doctor, multiple doctors.
Multiple doctors. That's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
That's
She's
pretty
like
bad.
been trying to
Yes.
get to get reproductive health care.
Mhm.
Like she's just looking for somebody to like
Yeah.
treat her.
Anyone who will tie her tubes. She's
Yeah.
like, please,
Just
somebody.
someone.
That's wild.
Like, give me this care that I'm asking for.
Yeah. That's wild.
It is.
So, anyway.
Okay, ladies, now it's your turn to go head to head. I'm going to judge you. Hit me with what you got.
All right. I'll go first since I went second last time.
Alrighty.
Give it to Miss.
This one is interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it flies.
Okay.
Tip for the ladies. Instead of saying all men, say no men. What I mean by that is instead of saying all men or men behave in this negative way, instead say no men behave in this positive way. So, for example, instead of saying, men constantly objectify women, because you're gonna, of course, be met with the defensive immediately as soon as you say that, instead say, no men really come to women's defense when other men start objectifying them. You'll find out real quick, men don't really like that much. Because here's the thing, places the burden of proof on them to prove that they're a good person and to prove that they're actually behaving in a manner that is appropriate when confronted with misogyny. And unfortunately, a lot of them are not behaving in a way that is appropriate when confronted with misogyny. So start saying that, because the results are enlightening.
Ooh, a hot tip.
That's
Little
interesting.
TikTok tip. A tip talk.
A tip
You
talk.
might say. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but I'm saying it's one.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about for sure. Like, how can you rephrase it to actually put it on them to think about when they've actually stood up for a woman or when they've actually confronted misogyny and recognize it, like that they're paying attention. It confronts whether or not they're paying attention.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, it confronts whether or not they're actively anti-sexist or
Yeah.
just not actively
Yeah.
sexist, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of men, I think, will sort of assume that since I'm not harassing anyone currently, I'm good. Which,
Right.
that's a great step.
Yeah, good first step.
Let's not like diminish that, but in terms of like, are you helping other people out? It's a good question.
I have a screenshot that is not backed up by fact on Instagram. This screenshot is on an account called the Tennessee Holler. That is a news and media website. It is a screenshot of a article titled Pro-Life Congressman Recorded Himself Convincing Mistress to Get an Abortion.
Wow.
Dang. The hypocrisy.
The
That's-
hypocrisy.
Oh.
And that's what fuels my rage,
That
ladies.
does fuel.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's so true, because that's the thing, right? Like, these men who are anti-abortion would 100% convince a woman that they sexually assaulted or a mistress or whatever to get an abortion to save face for themselves. Like, in the same way, if you think about, for example, like the war on drugs, we talk all about that in our episode on cannabis, which might be out, might not be out, don't know. In that episode, we talked about that too. Like the same, like all the people in Congress are doing drugs. Like so many people are doing drugs who are like higher up, but they don't want to face the consequences that they do have other people face for doing drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because at the end of the day, they're not like voting for policy to make the world a better place. They're voting for policy that benefits their voter base.
Yeah,
And keeps them
exactly.
in power.
Well, and this conservative representative from Tennessee, or wherever, I think it's Tennessee, is, the good Christian conservative. So he wouldn't want
is he?
anyone to find out that he has a mistress,
Mhm.
let alone a love child.
Yeah.
Therefore, he has to literally save his reputation in order to save his career, in order to continue to benefit from being in power.
But what
Yeah.
an idiot for like making a video about that, though.
Yeah. How did he
know.
record himself?
I don't know.
They like to bash women who make sex videos. This guy's Much, much worse.
Nope.
Dang. All right. So up to bat, we have the hot tip, the tip talk.
The tip talk?
The hot tip talk.
About how to spin sexism on its head and reveal to men how they actually are complicit in sexism versus the pro-life congressman who convinced his mistress to get an abortion. This is a tough fight, gals. Are you ready for the winner of this round? It's the pro-life congressman.
Oh, man! I knew it!
Ooh.
That was a pretty enraging one.
That's pretty enraging.
I was like, that's so angering
I
and
found that
frustrating.
like a long time ago and
Yeah.
saved it because I was like, I want to find this recording and just be angry about it later. And then it became imperfect for this
There
opportunity.
you go.
It's fine. I accept my defeat against a non-fact-checked, enraging tidbit of news that we don't know actually happened. But
Dang, the shade.
I will say it was a good one.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter if it's factual or not. It matters that the piece of social media made me enraged.
The part.
So
I mean, I think it's up
matters.
to each judge to make their own decision on how they judge.
You're
So,
right.
You know,
You're right.
I misread the situation, and I'm going to go back and study up. I'm going to train. Me and my coach are
Re-strategize?
we're going to re-strategize for next season. So
Okay.
I just want to
I
thank
believe
all
in
of
you.
my fans.
I'm rooting for you.
I want to thank all of my fans.
You know, there's still a
and,
chance. There
yeah.
is.
That's
There's
true.
still a chance for you, Cal. You could still win.
Yeah.
If you win the next two.
There's only one left.
That's not true.
Yes, that is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
The next one is going to be you two against each other, and then the next one is going to be all of us against each other.
Oh, there's only 1 point left for you. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So you. Oh, sorry.
Moving on.
You two better have some good stuff to show me. Otherwise, nobody's getting points.
You're just gonna withhold points.
I can do that. Again, the points do matter, and they are made up, and I can with or withhold.
With or withhold?
I can hold.
You're gonna with?
I can hold or withhold in whatever way I decide.
Okay.
Who's going first?
You are.
Excellent, because I think I've got a good one.
All right.
So I have a YouTube short, is
Mm-hmm.
what they're called, trying to compete with TikTok and Instagram Reels.
And failing.
And failing.
Boo.
From the
Although
one,
we do post YouTube shorts. Go watch them on our YouTube channel.
from the one and only national treasure known as Matt Walsh.
Oh, I'm already enraged.
And here we are.
already
It says,
enraged.
this is why you shouldn't date women with small dogs.
That to me is creepy. That freaks me out. I actually find, I'm not even kidding, I find this deeply, on a real visceral level, I find that very disturbing, that whole scene. The look on the dog's face was a look of saying, help me. He's pleading with the camera, pleading with the public, come and rescue me from this serial killer I'm living with. Listen, man, if you're dating a woman and she has a little dog, like, in fact, if she has a little dog at all, that's a good reason to run away, but especially if she has a literal bed with a nightstand and a lamp, that, by the way, the dog can't turn that lamp on and off, then that's a good indication that this woman will murder you in your sleep.
So I'd like to break that down a little bit.
Yeah, let the listeners know what just happened.
So essentially what happened, right, is Matt Walsh is reviewing a TikTok clearly made to be funny,
Yeah.
right? And the owner walks in, the dog's in bed being good, closes the door, comes back in, there's a stuffed animal in its place, and it's around the corner making a TikTok video, right? Clearly made to be dumb and silly. And Matt Walsh, sweet Matt, takes it real serious and is like, first of all, if you own a small dog, ew. And second of all, look at the terror on the dog's face. I'm like, this is a small dog. It has buggy eyes. That's how it works. He's like, literally, It's saying, rescue me from this serial killer, which apparently Matt Walsh has a skill that we didn't know about, and it is that he can communicate with dogs. So good. Anyway.
He's a dog whisperer.
And he proceeds to tell men that if you're dating a woman with a small dog, period, you should break up with her. Like,
it's just so bizarre.
she's crazy.
It's so silly.
And it's so visceral for him. It makes him so uncomfortable.
He's almost gagging.
And he's very concerned for this dog and thinks this woman is repulsive. And nay, all women with small dogs are repulsive.
Dang.
Anyway.
It's a sweeping generalization for him to make from
wow.
one.
Yeah, Walsh, I would
one
want to
thing.
say that I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised.
No.
At all.
Nah.
So there you go.
Amazing stuff.
Anyway, I
Thank
rest
you.
my case.
Thank
well
you for
done,
that.
well done. That was a good one.
Thank you.
All right. So this one I'm going to give a little cue up because it has a little visual here where there's an article from Meghan Markle where Meghan Markle says, the title of the article is, Meghan Markle says her ambition was seen as a terrible thing while dating Prince Harry. So she's I think it's an article of her complaining about how being involved with the royal family, it was seen as a bad thing that she was an ambitious woman. She should not do that. So this is this girl reacting to that.
If you're a modern third wave feminist, you as a feminist are comfortable saying women can be anything they want to be. Women can achieve anything a man can. Women can accomplish every single dream on their dream and vision board. Nobody can hold women back. But at the same time, everybody's holding women back. And everybody's preventing women from succeeding. And everybody gets uncomfortable when a woman is ambitious. But women can do everything. This dichotomy of a double standard on women are limitless and women can do whatever, but also women are systemically held back. You can't have it both ways, Megan. I'm sorry. It just can't exist that way. Either you can be successful and do everything in your power to succeed because you are limitless and nothing can hold you back, or you can't.
So, do you want to just...
Interesting.
Let's just break down some of what she's saying, because it boils my blood. She's saying that feminists are contradicting themselves in saying
Classic
that...
feminists.
Yes, stupid, dumb
what we're
feminists
doing.
over here saying, on the one hand, women can do anything a man can, but then she's saying feminists complain that men are holding them back, and society's holding them back. And the issue is that it's not one or the other, it is both, in that feminism claims, yes, women are equal to men. Women do have inherent equality, we are equal beings inherently, but society and its structures have been put in a place that favors men rather than women, and that actually disadvantages women. And so women have to work harder, even though we are on in our most natural state, we are on equal footing with men. We are born into a society that doesn't view us that way. And so it makes me especially mad when I hear women say stuff like this.
I'm like, this is an excellent example of a misogynistic woman.
Well, it's also just an unnecessary or unhelpful argument. That doesn't disprove feminism at all. It's just pointing out contradictions that aren't related.
Yeah, that's the thing. And she's linking them together in a way that makes it sound like they are, but they're not.
Capability is different from access.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
So she's saying oh, Meghan Markle, you can you say that women are so great and women should be able to be actresses and empowered as she is, but then complaining that the royal family held her back. But she was being abused.
Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
They needed you to sit down and be quiet.
There's no contradiction to, this bird with clipped wings is fully capable of flying, yet cannot fly because its clipped wings prevent it from doing so.
Yeah.
That is not...
The bird was born to be able to fly, but something has inhibited it.
Yes, that is there's no logic issue there. Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am.
Yeah.
An excellent one.
Well, I hate this because I have to dole out points to one or both or neither of.
Both or neither? The only option is one.
Yeah, you could definitely both give us points. Give us both points? There we go.
Yeah. I could give out 2 points. I could give out 0 points. Or I could give out 1.
I think you can only give out 1. I think those are the rules.
I think that I can do whatever I want because I am the judge.
No, I think I'm limiting you just like society limits women.
Judge right now. Especially since both of you are my competitors and have beaten me. And I'm a little bitter and a little enraged.
Oh my.
It's fine. I'll get over it. In therapy next year.
Oh, wow.
But I'm actually going to go with Matt Walsh. Because he literally does enrage me just by existing.
He's so annoying.
And everything he says, or almost everything he says, is just full bullshit from the moment he opens his mouth to the moment he closes it.
I saved that one for you.
See? And that's where you one-upped me, was to know your judge.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, ladies
Nice.
and ladies.
Ladies and ladies?
Ladies and ladies. I was going to say ladies and gentlemen.
gentlemen.
But then I was like, just 2 ladies here right now. So, fabulous. Well, now we've come to our final round,
Yes.
right? It's time to all present our final pieces of media. And we will all vote on them.
Yeah.
Which is so
Where are we
exciting.
standing points-wise? Could you remind the audience?
I have a point. Kellyanne has 1 point. Right? No! Oh my god, I have 2 points!
Okay.
I forgot. The end. Right? No, because you don't have a point.
I have a point.
You have a point.
Oh my gosh.
You awarded her a point.
Yeah.
Guys, there's no scoreboard. We need to figure this out for next time.
Whoa.
Emma has a point. I have 2 points.
Yeah.
Kelly currently has no points. But we'll see what can happen.
Kelly, you could get a point at least
You
this
could get a
round.
point.
Yeah, and I plan to. I saved the best one for last.
All right.
So.
All right, I believe in you.
Okay, so I get to go first. And for my final piece of media, I present to you, the jury, a video of the icon, the legend, Cher, being interviewed by Regis and Kelly.
I don't mind being alone. It's not a preference, but it's certainly all right with me.
But don't you think that a lot of men would be a little bit intimidated about asking you for a date?
Yeah. You got a problem with that? Those guys need not apply.
Here we have the icon, the queen, a feminist, Cher, being interviewed about she doesn't mind being alone. It's not preferred, but she doesn't mind it. It's fine. And Regis leans over and goes, but don't you think men might be a little intimidated asking you out on a date? You powerful, successful woman?
Cher?
The icon? And she goes, yeah, those guys don't need to apply.
Yeah.
If you're intimidated,
They're that insecure?
that's fine by
Don't
me.
apply.
And literally Kelly over in the corner goes, yeah, Regis, what the hell?
That's great.
And like the audacity of being like, but don't you think men are like a little intimidated by your success and how great you are? Yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
And then they don't need to hang.
Yeah. I'll go next. So here we have a video from a TikTok about marketing, which is super fun. Kelly and I both work in marketing, so this should be a fun one.
This is Ads That Didn't Age Well, Part 10. Back in the day, Xerox is trying to figure out how to sell more copy machines. And so they reach out to all of the best and brightest minds in the company and they call a marketing meeting. A meeting that I have to assume went a little like this. All right, guys, copy machine sales are down. What do you got? We could talk about the benefits of the machine. Okay, not bad. A little basic. What about you? We could say our machines make women useful. Okay, What?
I can't type. I don't take dictation. I won't sharpen pencils. I can't file. My boss calls me indispensable. I push the button on the Xerox 914. I make perfect copies of whatever my boss needs by just turning a knob and pushing a button. Sometimes my boss asks me which is the original, and sometimes I don't know. Here, Mr. Smith, I'm going to lunch with Mother.
Yikes, guys. I think my bigger question is like, who is this for? Like, who has the buying power in these offices that they thought would like this?
Oh my God.
How does that even exist?
It is a lot.
Let that one out.
So, literally, Xerox had a marketing campaign that was targeted at saying, women are so dumb, they just know how to press a button. And that is what you can have them in the office for. Get our machine so your useless women can have something to be useful for. That, and I guess getting lunch with Mother.
Getting lunch with Mother.
And I just am thinking, like, watching that, I'm like, who is this actress?
I know.
That is in this ad. And how did she feel as she did this? Like,
yeah.
Oh,
Dear
like,
Lord.
it is disgusting. And then you wonder why women are mad. Like, because stuff like this was not even that long ago that ads like this were running. And there's still ads that are so gross that exist. And they're just much more subtle and insidious than that. But whew.
And then you know that someone complained, or many someones complained, and then the marketing guys are like, I don't know what I do.
But did they? I don't even know. There wasn't the kind of social media firestorm that could fall back then as there is now.
But there were TV ads.
Yeah, but it was
I can't type.
Yeah.
Or even think.
And also for the
How
listeners.
do you file?
For the listeners, just so you know, as she's saying all these things she can't do, she's like putting makeup on.
She's like, I only know how to look pretty.
Yes, exactly. She's there for eye candy and to press that one button and make copies, but she can't even tell the difference between a copy. She's like, I don't know. I'm so dumb.
God.
It's so gross.
That's a good one.
That's
so bad.
That's some shitty marketing right there. All right, guys.
Hit us with it, Cal.
Are you ready?
I'm so
ready.
stoked.
Are you sure that you can handle this?
I'm not sure, but I'm ready.
Are you ready to just get a little pissed?
I'm already a little pissed. Let's amplify it. Let's go.
Here we go.
That's my idea of the patriarchy, which is a system of male dominance of society.
Yeah, but that's not my sense of the patriarchy.
So what's yours?
Well, in what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
Very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. It's like, where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society. There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
But I could say equally well that most rape victims are women. Terrible things happen to people of both sexes.
And you could say that with perfect utility, but that doesn't provide any evidence for the existence of a male-dominated patriarchy.
Well,
it just means that terrible things happen to both genders, which they certainly do.
But there are almost no women who rape men, for example. So that is an asymmetry there in sexual violence.
Well, yes, there's an asymmetry in all sorts of places, but that doesn't mean that Western culture is a male-dominated patriarchy. The fact that there are asymmetries has nothing to do with your basic argument.
No, but you might
This is a trope that people just accept. Western society is a male-dominated patriarchy. It's like, no, it's not. That's not true. And even if it has a patriarchal structure to some degree, the fundamental basis of that structure is not power; it's competence. That's why our society works. It's only when a structure degenerates into tyranny that the fundamental relationships between people become dependent on power. It's not power. If you hire a plumber who's likely to be male it's not because there's roving bands of tyrannical plumbers forcing you to make that choice. And it's the case with almost every interaction that you have at the face of our culture. You're dealing with people who are offering a service of one form or another, who are usually part of the broad middle class, and who offer, and what you're looking for is the person who can offer the best service, and you can find it. It's not a consequence of being dominated by anything that's tyrannical. And then again, our culture, our Western culture, which is by no means perfect, and certainly has tyrannical elements, like all cultures do, is the least tyrannical society that's ever been produced, and certainly the least tyrannical society that exists now. This whole patriarchy thing, I think you have no idea how pernicious and dangerous it is.
Well, no, I don't. I really don't. Go on.
Throughout history have fundamentally cooperated to push back against the absolute catastrophe of existence. A terrible death rate, the probability of chronic starvation, early death, disease, the difficulty of raising children with all the death that was associated with that. And to look backwards in time and say, well, basically what happened was men took the upper hand and persecuted women in this tyrannical patriarchy is an absolutely dreadful misreading of history. It's a terrible thing to teach young women, and it's a horrible thing to inflict upon men.
I dislike Jordan Peterson so much.
Horrible thing to inflict upon men, this concept of the patriarchy. But yeah, to break that down, if you didn't get it from the wonderful explanation that Mr. Jordan provided, the patriarchy does not exist. It is just a matter of competence. And injustices affect both men and women, and therefore all oppression that women face is not a, I guess, cause of any sort of power differential or tyrannical, I guess, patriarchal system that is dominated by men. It is just bad things that happen.
Well, and women's incompetence.
Yes.
Here's the thing. This argument is so flawed because I think on one hand, Jordan Peterson is not allowing this woman any opportunity to really defend her side. He's barely giving her a chance to speak. But the definition of patriarchy that they're working off of is a bit flawed. So the thing is that patriarchy, which is a male-dominated and favored society, actually hurts all. And those things that he's bringing up about men having higher rates of prison sentencing, about men having higher suicide rates, being higher victims of violent crime, those are all symptoms of the patriarchy. And we actually talk about this in our Feminism Myths episode, which you should definitely listen to. The thing is that those are all symptoms of a patriarchal society because of the pressures and the norms that are put in place, like toxic masculinity, that put men into those positions. Patriarchy hurts everybody. And the idea that we live in a better society than we used to live in does not mean that we've reached any form of equality. So I've heard this argument about race too, because he's saying, oh, well, essentially you shouldn't complain because we have made all these advancements in society. This is the best we've ever had it, right? I've heard the same thing about racism where they're like, well, the United States is one of the least racist countries in the world. We have the least amount of racial division of other countries in the world, which might be true. It's hard to rank something like that. But the issue is that racism still exists. The issue is that sexism still exists. The issue is not how racist we are compared to somebody else or how sexist we are compared to somebody else or compared to a past reality. The issue is that it's still happening in some form, right? So that argument is just a way to misdirect people.
Right. And his idea of it's a terrible misreading of history. I'm like, what history are you reading, my bro?
Right, white male history.
Yes.
That's the history he's reading. He's not thinking about in 1970s, women couldn't get a credit card.
Or serve on a jury.
Or, oh my God, or running the Boston Marathon. I'm sorry?
We're talking 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And to think that all of those residual cultural norms have just evaporated ever since the laws changed, that's...
No. So annoying.
And the thing that enrages me the most about something like this is that he presents it in such a calm, intelligent way.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people...
They just eat it up.
And love his rhetoric and love the types of stuff that he talks about. And it's frustrating.
Probably because he is calm and educated and all those things. It like feels calming to listen to and like, oh, this is logical versus like, I don't know, someone who screams and throws fits like Andrew Tate, for example. That feels very chaotic, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this feels calming, so it must be true, which is like, the truth should probably make you a little uncomfortable.
Right. Well, and also the way that he frames patriarchy is very much like this sort of dictatorial or authoritarian like rule over women that men like across the board have enacted, when it's actually a cultural construct in the way that we conduct our lives. Like nobody's saying that this patriarchy is this like evil society of men that have all banded together to keep women down. That would be insane.
Right.
Like the patriarchy is a cultural construct that exists, that has existed for centuries and centuries, and historically puts men in positions of power, puts men in positions of being able to access wealth by land vote, be on juries, etc. Well, women are forced to, well, first of all, trafficked into marriage and other,
That's a
other
great
situations
example.
like that, but also forced into childbearing and motherly roles if they're lucky.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we have progressed very far since then, at least in the Western world. There's plenty of places around the world where we have not afforded women the right to education or period products or other basic human rights that they deserve, or, you know, bodily autonomy, etc. But yeah, just because we have progressed does not mean that the patriarchy is dissolved.
Yeah. Ugh.
Wow, some steep competition. So to recap, I presented the Cher video.
Yes.
Love her.
With Regis and
All
Kelly.
hail Cher.
All hail Cher. Emma, what did you present?
Dang. I presented the Xerox ad that we love so much.
The copier.
Made me want to buy a copy machine.
We should show that to Jordan Peterson. See what he thinks.
Yeah.
Be like, here you go, Jordan. Patriarchy.
The patriarchy, right here before you. Women are too dumb to do anything but press a button in the office.
Well, according to him, it is a matter of competence. So.
And he would probably love that ad. Jordan Peterson would probably
this is a
love
perfect
that
example
ad.
of why
give
women
her a
are
job.
incompetent.
All they can do is put mascara on and press a button.
And then obviously with Kelly, we've got the Jordan Peterson, very fresh.
I guess rant.
Very fresh.
Calm rant.
Yeah.
Just calm rant.
Calculating rant, what I would call
gross.
it. Yeah.
So for the listener, we will be in our notes app writing who won this round. And on the count of 3, we will turn it around.
Do, 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 do,
Okay.
do.
On the count of 3.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Oh!
All right. So for the listener,
Emmy?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant. Listen, I was under pressure. So Emma voted for Kelly.
Thank you.
Kelly voted for Emma, and I voted for Emmy under pressure.
Who's that?
So where does this leave us?
we have a tie now.
We have a tie.
Yeah.
So we're going into double overtime.
Oh, God.
For the first time ever on the Woman Being Podcast Feminist Rage Social Media Showdown.
The sequel.
The sequel. We're going into double overtime, which automatically means Kelly judges.
Okay. So it's a good thing I actually did also have an extra one prepared. It is a little bit reiterative, but I think it's okay. I'll still show it. It's okay with me to show it.
Okay. So for this one, I think it should enrage you in a way that hurts you.
Ready to be hurt.
And it's sad. It should cause you sadness. So this is a poem by a man. His name is Barrett Powell, and he is a queer life coach, Jewish-ish queer life coach. And it is a poem about detoxifying masculinity, detoxifying toxic masculinity.
Don't be a girl because that's the worst thing you can be, so says patriarchy. You see, we aren't told what to be, we're told what not to be. Boys don't cry, you throw like a girl, toughen up, suck it up, don't be a sissy, you sound like a proper little missy, be toxic and super straight, give 0 fucks about being late. Well, what should I like then? Girls that are only a 10, cars and trucks, getting your D sucked, sports and fishing, getting drunk and pissing everywhere. Time with the boys, making ruckus and way too much fucking noise, keeping your feelings inside. Boy, you better hide that piece of you that is vulnerable and sad, because it's just better to get mad. You see, after thousands of years in control, all men know how to do is brawl, destroy and fight, never try to find the light, complain that no one gets what it's like to be a man. Because that's all a part of the master's plan, to turn yourself into the victim. Gaslight and abuse, just use. Subconsciously and consciously, that's what we're told in media, and from the ones that are old because they were unhappy, so you should be too. You see, that's the problem with generational trauma. We blame it on our mama, but the truth is it started with the first father who couldn't give a bother, so he killed his son, and then we're told to do the same. Metaphorically, spiritually, and mentally, over and over and over. Doesn't that feel really fucking lame? Enough is enough. Yes, the gym will get you buff, but it won't heal your hurt and wounds, so maybe it's time to sing some other tunes. How about we stop the tough guy acts and start listening to the facts that we heal together, listening to one another, opening our ears and collective mind, not just being nice, but also being kind, standing with our masculinity, but also our unique femininity. You are the sum, the whole. You shouldn't have to have a hole in your heart, because you are not just a piece or a part. Remember that equality serves us all. You don't lose anything by lifting others up. If anything, it helps fill your cup. Queerness is wonderful. It helps many of us feel full. Women are not the enemy. They will help us all find unity. Different colors make the world bright is scientifically how we find the light. Find humility and remove your personal strife so that you may enjoy this one life. Not worrying about being a man, but evolving to become human.
I get that it's cheesy. I feel like all poetry in general is just cheesy, even though I love poetry.
All poetry, wow.
I feel like the majority of poetry is very cheesy.
Okay.
That's a hot take. We could do a whole episode
That's
about
a really
that.
hot
Even
take.
though I really love poetry.
Okay.
But anyway, the reason I feel like this is important and should make you sad and enrage you at the same time is you're seeing the reverse of like what we've talked about with like myths of feminism and like how the patriarchy really hurts men. And I feel like part of being a feminist and advocating is not just advocating for myself, my fellow women, my sisters, my friends. I'm also advocating for the men in my life. And I think it's that kind of like toxic masculinity that he so eloquently verbalizes that maybe men aren't able to see all the way, or they don't realize how much it hurts them. And so I think this is fuel to the feminist rage.
Thank you, Kellyanne. Emma, what do you got for us?
So what I have is this is actually a video that starts with the same prompt as my first video.
Excellent.
But then it has a different response. So that's why it's a little bit reiterative. Mm-hmm. This one is a totally different scenario, but the same start.
Okay, so what are some things you've noticed that are blatantly sexist?
Something that's been bothering me for a while now is when people come up to me and tell me my daughter's really beautiful and that I better watch out for her when she gets older. It's happened quite a few times, and in society we normalise saying things like, oh, you better be careful of her when she's older. Oh, you better watch out for her when she's older. Like they're actually expecting our daughters to be sexually assaulted. When really, if you think about it, who are they going to get sexually assaulted by? The boys. And nobody in a million years would go up to a boy's parents when the boy was being boisterous and hitting someone. Ooh, you better be careful of him when he's older. Could turn out to be a predator.
Whoa. So she's exposing the double standard where there's so many things like this where people even have shirts or all sorts of things where they talk about how their daughter's going to grow up to be like either to be like a man killer or man eater type of thing because they have a beautiful daughter, a heartbreaker, Or like, you got to watch out and protect her because she's so pretty, she can't help but be sexually assaulted. Like, that is, it is absolutely ludicrous to me that that is so normal to say to a parent. But then she brings up the great point of, we don't try to call things out like that about boys. We don't go, watch out, your son's being too whatever. He might wind up sexually assaulting somebody, but that's who would be doing it, right?
Right.
Like,
woo! Damn.
That's enraging. I think there's so many examples of us as young girls or things we say about young girls that are just totally inappropriate.
Yeah.
And like blur the lines between
and like the sexualization of young girls. Or like, even, I know, Kelly, you've complained about like older men complimenting when you have like braids in your hair and that kind of thing because you look younger and more youthful and it's so gross. And just like, why does the thought even cross your mind that this child is going to be like, is going to have this like sexual future, you know? Like, why are you even thinking about that? What is going on in your brain?
Ooh.
So skeevy.
That's a good one.
Skeevy. Okay, ladies, here's the deal.
Hold my hand, Cal.
We have two contenders. We have the former winner of the Feminist Rage social media showdown. And we have a new contender, Kellyanne, coming in hot and ready for the sequel.
Heavy.
For the sequel. And I am the person that has to make that decision in front of you, my friends, in front of all of our listeners. And despite the pressure that puts on my shoulders, I also feel a sense of great responsibility. And I want to carry this torch to the end. And ultimately, where this brings me, Kelly,
this is a long speech.
Kelly and Emma, is that I would like to award Kellyanne with the championship crown.
Me?
She goes, me.
Oh my God. Oh, my poem?
Inspiring. Gave me chills.
Makes me tear up.
It made me a little patronized when you told me it was cheesy after I liked it.
Oh.
It's fine. I'll move past that. You also took a dig at poetry in general, which we'll have to talk about in therapy in 3 years after I work it out with my therapist in a year.
That's the timeline.
Yep. We should mark our calendars and be ready with margaritas.
But the point is, one of the most enraging things is that womanhood has been used as an insult to men and gay men and trans women, trans men for far too long. Trans women and men, honestly.
Yeah.
And the fact is that femininity is not an insult. It is an asset. And we should embrace our lovely selves.
Yeah.
Wow. I couldn't agree more, Kelly, and I thank you for this high honor of the reigning queen of the Feminist Rage social media showdown
this
part 2.
This means that the next one I have to win.
So we're rigging our votes now. But wow,
congrats.
What a whirlwind. Thank you.
Oh, we have a new reigning champion.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. I would like to thank God and my mom and my supportive husband that helps me advocate for feminism every day.
Aw. And behind every feminist is a man pulling the strings. What? Just kidding.
No.
I don't know how to do anything. I just can press
all I know how to do is press a button.
I just put on my
Is it scary?
That's all I know.
Off to lunch with mother.
Mother, it's lunchtime.
Do.
Order me a salad.
See you later, boss man. I don't know.
Maybe later you can sexually harass me.
Yeah, you can touch the small of my back.
Well, and that pretty much wraps up the Feminist Rage social media showdown part 2.
The sequel.
Ladies, thank you so much for showing up to the competition, ready for a fight. I appreciate it. And you, listener, thank you for sticking around to the very end. And you know what? If you're not following us on social media already, I think you should, because here's why. I think you should send us your pieces of feminist rage social media
Yeah.
and help continue to fuel our rage.
Yeah.
So
maybe we'll post them on our stories. I don't know.
my gosh, that'd be so
I
fun.
don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't. So, and without further ado, I guess we'll just see you next time. Make sure that you're sending us that social media rage, and thanks for showing us some love. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.